I think we're live. Good morning. Welcome to Tarot Time. Happy New Year. Happy 2026. As always, we've got a lot to talk about. But I think we're going to try something very novel today to start out the new year and actually start out doing tarot, being that it's tarot time and all, rather than the usual 20 minutes talking about current events and other stuff before even getting into the tarot. So, as usual, I will wait a minute or two to give the live people a chance to get their notifications. I did not sleep last night again. I don't know if it's just that revolution is in the air because there was no notable solar flares or anything last night, so I can't blame the sun for not sleeping. Just a lot of energy I get. I don't know, but anyway, hello, Bubble, Bree, Beverly, welcome. Hi, Chris, the volunteer, yay, and Janice, hello, and Coyote Moon, Yolanda, welcome. Hi, Kaya, hi, Katie, and yeah, there's and Melissa, hi. Hello, Felicia. Hello, Meryl. Welcome. Happy New Year. Welcome to Woodstock. So I've been talking a lot. We did a live stream last night, and a lot of you know that because a lot of you were on that for the January psychic forecast. We did the 2026 psychic forecast on, when was it? The 30th. And then I did an upload that hit on the first. So anyway, hello, UGC with Sriti. Hello, Josh. Welcome. Okay. So yeah, the tarot time is really more about like what's going on in the world. So it's a different thing than people asking questions. But we're gonna do that. I'm gonna do an evening where people can actually ask psychic questions. But for now, this is like a community kind of an event every Sunday. So I will be saying hello to people. I will be including your comments in the conversation as we move forward with things, and getting some insights through tarot and other divination tools and channeling, in order to get, to understand the energies of this week, for ourselves, for our community, what's going on in the world at large. And we'll finish up doing an energy transmission. So we'll do some energetic work to help us to vibrate at the new level of energy that we're coming into for the new year. So anyway, I can't, being that I can't keep up with my own schedule. Let me find that comment. Being that I can't keep up with my own schedule, I well understand that. Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but I even have a date. It'll be like in a couple of weeks, but we're actually going to do that, and yeah, and I'll try to figure out how to turn on my community tab. That way, you guys can comment on the Medium channel. There's a community tab that I have to. It's a newer feature, and it's one of the newer features that I like. And we are a community, so we'll get that going. Yeah, lots of good changes for 2026. Hello, Nathan. Happy New Year to you too. And Debs, hello. And Josh, thanks for saying hi to everybody. So Josh and a few of the others have YouTube channels and have your own communities. And if you like to post your channel name on the chat, please feel free to do that. Like I said, I did not sleep last night, maybe an hour or two on and off. I do remember a couple of dreams. So I may stammer a little bit, but let's get into this. So unless you were living under a rock or just completely turned the news and the internet off, you know that Nicolas Maduro was ousted in a, we'll just say an operation spearheaded by the United States. And I believe that him and his wife were brought to New York. So the quote unquote president is no longer. So we'll see what comes up in tarot around that and what the ramifications are. But we did in the 2026 forecast, we did predict that we'd hit the ground running. There'd be revolutionary activity, and he was one of the people that was predicted to be leaving office in 2026. And that didn't take long at all now, did it? So that's been going on. And then there's a mixed reactions. A lot of Venezuelans are very happy about that because they feel they were living under a dictatorship, not under a president. And that, what's her name? Maria Machado, she was not allowed to run in 2024, I believe. This is going back a little ways. And she's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. So I think that fueled the argument that Venezuela is really a dictatorship rather than a democracy. And the title president was a little bit, I don't know, misleading. I'll put it that way. So like I said, we'll dive a little bit more into that. We'll see how that comes up, how that's going to shake up the world. And we do know there's oil there. Not everybody knows. Well, I think most people know there's a lot of gold reserves also. And what may be slipping under the radar is the fact that they have a lot of resources in rare earth minerals and other minerals that are used in AI technology and such. And we're in this race with China, and of course, I could go on and on, but as promised, let's start out with some tarot and see how the cards guide the conversation. No, Misha or Mary, she actually did. I thought she was taken off the ballot. Maybe I got my facts wrong, but it's interesting that and thanks. I'll post that again for people. That would definitely lead to the argument that Venezuela is a dictatorship. And I have clients that are Venezuelan. One in particular. She comes on every now and then. She does come on the live streams too. But but she's had relatives that live in Venezuela, and to sum it up, it was a shit show there. And she's talking about people's safety, gangs, looting, all that kind of stuff. So really, you could look at it. Well, does the U.S. have any right to go in and pluck out the leader, or is the U.S. doing like a global service and helping Venezuela to reestablish itself? It's debatable. We're not going to debate it now. We're going to go into tarot. And the first thing I like to do is do a meditation card. And my intention is for Spirit to help me to pick the right card to meditate on for this week, to connect with the energy, to get a card that's very succinct with that'll help us to synchronize with the energies and help us in understanding it and help us with our own spiritual growth also. Wait. Seriously. I know it's in New York City, right? Yeah, exactly. It's just, I just, especially last week when I realized it was like 25 minutes in, I hadn't even touched the tarot. I was like, wait a second, this is tarot time, right? Let's integrate the conversation in the actual readings. And what else are you guys saying? Millie. Yeah, I could just, and Mary we were texting also last night, and I was like, so why did they take him to New York? That was like a question. Why did they take him and his wife to New York? And then I just got this insight, and this isn't my opinion. I'm just using, some of the rhetoric out there that maybe the Trump administration, bring him to New York City, let Kami Madami deal with it or whatever. I'm not reflecting my own opinions on the New York mayor. And at the end of the day, all of this stuff is divide. It's all strengthening that divide. It's creating more chaos. We did say a lot of chaos was going to come as these higher energies are dislodging the lower energies that have been stuck in our collective fields and the earth fields. And then, of course, there's the resistance or the war against spirituality and awakening. So a lot of things coming to a head. We're definitely hitting the ground running. And if you guys have seen the my winter psychic forecast from earlier in the month of December, the 2026, you know that not everything, but a lot of this was predicted. Yeah, I have to be honest, say I didn't, get a vision of the U.S. plucking the Venezuelan leader out. I just got that he was not going to be in office, that he was going to step down for one reason or another. I think one or two psychics did see that invasion, though. I don't know which one, but I remember seeing that, like either on the internet or YouTube, which is interesting. So we're doing a meditation card now. Okay, well, that would make sense because it's federal. All right. I mean, but New York City's not. I mean, Washington D.C. is federal also. Why not take him there? Yeah, that would be my question. Yeah. So Mary's in New York City, so she's where the action is right now. So that's interesting. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just hearing that, answering my own question about DC, that that the narrative would be, whether it's true or not, but the narrative would be that it would pose a federal risk if he was in DC or something to that nature. Means why New York City is different. Oh, yeah, the White House isn't in New York City. All right, I guess that makes some sense, but the UN is. Anyhow, so I think I mixed my cards up enough. So let's do a meditation card, then we'll talk about maybe what some of the energy or meaning is of that card, and what I recommend as a meditation process to work with tarot. So anyway, we've got one right over here. Oh, interesting. The devil card, which nothing is literal, so don't freak out. It's like I could just hear now, like, wait, what? I'm not meditating with the devil. No freaking way. and I get it, but this card also represents the sign Capricorn. So, 1 out of 12 people are not in league with the devil. It's all symbolic. And the devil actually in tarot, it's originally was called the Magus, by the way, in some of the older texts. So there's that connotation of being able to utilize energy to transform matter. And then on another hand, in the more modern interpretation, this is telling us where we may be stuck, where we may be bound in our own life, where we may be limited. Because, the figures, they're kind of tied up. They're sort of cowering. The devil's sort of ruling over them. He's got an inverted pentacle on his head and everything. That's kind of like stuck in matter, stuck in the material. So if you want to meditate with this card this week, that's the energy. It may give you more understanding, insight into what's holding you back in your ascension and evolution right now. And I'm willing to bet for most of us, it's somewhere between 80 and 98% subconscious programming, social conditioning, just our a belief system that really isn't our belief system, was indoctrinated into us through the power of repetition, which is still happening. All the stuff going on in the world is really reinforcing that social conditioning, that programming, basically. I see something green. Thank you for the super sticker. Hello, LMNO77. Thank you. Please hit the like button. We love you. Thank you so much for that. And the idea is to get insights into what's holding you back. It's a new year. We're really, flipping the script from the cusp of new earth into the breaking foundations on the new earth, it's a one universal year. So that's when we start to build a new foundation on the new cycle. It's a 9-year cycle in numerology. Last number 1 year was 2017. Wait, am I 28? Yeah, 2017, because 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 7 is 10. That's when Donald Trump was inaugurated for his first term. That's when he was number 45. He's now president number 47. And if you go back to 2008, what happened then? Obama was elected in 2008. So both of these events really laid a foundation for a new paradigm. And, you can say, well, that's just the U.S. What about the rest of the world? I mean, the U.S., after all, only occupies 2% of the globe. And I'm sure you can look at other countries and find some similar new beginnings around that. But, I happen to be American, so it's easier for me to understand the trend in my own country than all the other countries. But the way the geopolitics is set up, U.S. is a microscope. That it's kind of like a point of scrutiny. What goes on in the U.S. has an effect on the world, basically. So anyway, so going into meditation with tarot, the idea is get very relaxed. Like any other meditation, you get very present, very relaxed, very open. Thank you, Janice. Oh, you guys are so good to me. Thank you so much. And we always like to display these. You guys are the best. And just being here and being part of the family, that's an energetic donation in itself. So I appreciate all of you. So get very relaxed, very present, very open, and then just be aware of what you're feeling. Then step into the card. Again, if you dare, remember the devil can only tempt anyway, so you're not in any danger. And again, it's all symbolic. Like I said, it's key 15. It's the sign Capricorn, so it has those energies connected to it. The goat energy, right? And then meet with this guy, because sometimes this is just the form, but there are variations on the story of Lucifer, where he's really like an emissary from God, and then goes into the underworld with a third of the angels, creates all kinds of havoc and chaos in the world, disrupts everything. But then at the end of the day, from the rubble, humanity rises up like the phoenix in a higher level of energy, a higher awareness, because they've been through all this chaos and all this crap. And then Lucifer returned back to God. So, there's that variation also. So anyway, and then just see, ask this guy, this energy. There may be other guys also, and get some insight into what's maybe holding you back to reaching your next level of ascension right now, and maybe what's holding humanity back. And, again, we're in Capricorn season 2, so it's succinct that way. And, with the latest development, with the capturing of the, I guess, ex-president Maduro, Nicolas Maduro. Am I pronouncing that right? What was I going to say? Anyway, I'm seeing your comments. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, that's another thing that's just gonna really like anchor in this divide. It's kind of like it's all a process of programming, of demoralization, to get people to fall more in line and to be okay with these crazy things that are being done in our society and done in our world. And there'll be one shocking event. Then when the shock starts to wear off and people get more used to it, boom, there's another one. So there's really no rest. So this is all, I mean, these are basically kind of crude brainwashing techniques. If you ever watch, anything like the original Manchurian Candidate, although the remake might be good too. I never saw the remake. The original had Frank Sinatra in it. And other movies that are like Cold War related, back in that era, that the tactics being used on the mass public are basically brainwashing techniques that have been used to, in espionage for a very, very long time. So stay in your heart. That's the unifying field. Be aware of the divide. It's fine to take sides based on your beliefs and your ideologies, but see it from the vantage point of the heart, not from the program, like pulling off to one wing or the other, or the brain. So anyway, I think that makes sense. So anyway, what are you guys saying? And then we're going to do a 3-card spread. Yes, get into the heart. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lucifer is very much alive. Yep. One of the reasons that LA is going through so much, and why I predicted LA is going to continue to have a lot of turmoil, because the entertainment industry, has a Luciferian, in my opinion, side to it. So what are we saying with propane stove? I have one of those too. So I don't know if you're having a power outage. Is there a bot on? Let me see if we can find the bot, if there's a bot on. I don't see any in the recent comments. But anyhow. Oh, all right. So where's the bot? I can take care of it from my end. At some point, because it feels like the channel's about to go through a growth cycle again. You can't find the bot. All right. But in any event, I'll try to keep an eye on your comments. Yeah, politics too. Absolutely. Yeah, it's all connected, right? I mean, not every single one, but I get your point. Yeah, I'm pretty prepared for a power outage too. I have a lot of supplies here. A lot of I mean, my old place had a wood stove, and I miss that. Because a propane heater, you still have to leave the window open to crack. You still have to have a CO monitor, if you don't want to die of carbon monoxide poisoning, stuff like that. But candles really work. I've got like 400 candles here, and I'm going to get another 400 little tea lights. They found, less power outage in the winter. I lit a bunch of candles, like a dozen candles in my room. That's fairly small, but it's a good sized bedroom, but it's still fairly small. And it kept the temperature close to 55 all night, and it was I think in the teens outside. So just having like a lot of candles can warm a small room. But anyhow, the propane, I have a little wood stove to cook on also. I can build the fire pit if worst came to worst. If we have the long-term power outage, the earth is pretty vulnerable. The magnetic field, although I think some people are making more out of it than it really is, because historically we're not, the magnetic field of the earth isn't super low, but it is lower than it's been in our lifetimes. And there are changes being noticed on the earth because of it. And one of the reasons, when I do some of my psychic forecast stuff, especially when it comes to like the science end, I was trained in meteorology, so I know a little bit about earth sciences in general. So I combined science with intuition. One of the reasons I was able to get the Japanese earthquake correct, the Mexico earthquake, that was in the forecast. They just had a 6.5. That was predicted. What others? The Kamchatka Peninsula one. I got that to the exact date, so that was a little bit more psychic, I guess, because it was the exact date. Local time. It's the 29th here, but the 30th was the date I picked up on of July. That's when the 8.8 hit. So so another thing, I feel a lot of energy in California, but I also see an earthquake swarm in around central California, and a lot of volatility there. So I telling folks out there, be aware that there could be a significant earthquake, especially in the Bay Area. And then another area, South America, that could get a really, really big earthquake. Maybe not in January, right around I want to say maybe south of Peru, that area. I don't know if that's Bolivia, or is that north? um, uh, but I know Chile and Argentina are south, so that's an area to watch out for. That's all on the Ring of Fire. We also told you that Italy was going to perk up, right? We've been saying that for a while. And then Etna's an eruption again. The area around Naples, Campi Flegrei, is having a lot of a big earthquake swarm that started in 2024 that's building, and there's been some activity there. So, but the point being is we're still in solar maximum. We're starting to just edge off of the solar maximum now. It was a stronger one than the last one, although not overwhelming by any means. But with the weakening of the Earth's magnetic field, it's allowing more plasma and ions. And they've been doing some studying and seeing electron penetration is more than it's been. That's energy, that's electricity, that's energy that's going into the earth. More energy in the earth, more potential for earthquakes. So there's a relationship with that, with the sun, the climate, the earth. There's a relationship. It's all connected. So if you understand that connection, you can forecast things based on science, but it also allows you to be more intuitive about how the cycles are working. Everything moves in cycles, fast cycles, slow cycles. And if you understand how that's all moving, and if I had studied the cycles a little bit more carefully, I may not have been so fast to predict major solar events in early January, because that prediction is not going to verify, or there's a very low chance of that, because I forgot the name of it, but there's actually a cycle of activity that doesn't really start till around the 10th to 15th of January. It's just that the big sunspot groups are now Earth facing, but if they don't have that other component, I mean, we did have an M-class flare, a strong M-class flare, tons of C-class flares, but nothing really noteworthy on this pass. But come around, from around the next week on, all of a sudden I saw a big trumpet in my mind, like Archangel Gabriel. I think that's my yes. I think we're going to get around the 10th of Martin Luther King weekend. I think that's going to be a period of heightened solar activity, which could mean solar flares, could mean power disruptions on the Earth. And then later in January, when those sunspots rotate back. So I think the last count, there's about 140 sunspots on the sun. So, and they develop quickly. Like it could go from nothing to firing flares in 48 hours on the sun. So if everything lines up and there's a planetary geometry with Jupiter, if you watch Stefan Burns' channel, he talks a lot about this, which I love, that he incorporates astrology, planetary alignment, and intuition with science, because he's a geophysicist. But it's a strong astrological alignment that we're really in now, but it peaks, in about under a week, because the 9th is around the peak. So we have Venus and Mars in superior conjunction with the sun, and then Jupiter in opposition to all that. So we had that line of energy that, and the sun responds to that. And Mercury is very close. It's not in the exact alignment, but Mercury, which is part of the sun's electrical circuitry, when that goes into conjunction, that often elicits more flaring activity. So all the stuff is lining up a little bit later. So anyway, 3-card spread as promised. I love Stefan too, right? Isn't he a cool dude? And just he blew up very fast just because he's very personable. He, unlike myself, he knows how to use the technology. He's extremely knowledgeable, with what he shares and teaches, and he's a rebel, and I like that. He goes against the grain, and the mainstream scientists attack him. Welcome to being a famous person on YouTube. You got a big target in your butt. With my smallest channel, 37,000 subscribers, I get that to some degree also. I'm not going to hold back a whole lot. I don't try, I don't feed the divide. So when I talk about politics, I try to stay in the middle of things, and some people don't like that, but but I do. And but in other areas, I tend to step out on the limb about things. But anyway, moving right along. What are you guys saying? We're gonna do a 3-card spread. Right. Yeah, I'm glad that you did. Hi, Laura. Welcome. Thank you so much. Like we can't watch longer. Yeah, that's why there's a lot of creators. He's not going to work for everybody, obviously, even for intelligent people like yourself. So it's not, no judgment there or anything. Yeah, exactly. Feck what they don't like. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, some thank you so much. Sometimes it's just your path, right? Like being in college where at that time my version of a spiritual experience was smoking a doobie, basically. Not listening to the Doobie Brothers, they weren't my favorite band. When you smoke weed, it was usually Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, but whatever. And then I just had, it was like the Flash. Other teachers have described that, just the Flash, and it's just like this moment of like, oh my God, everything I thought was real is a lie. Now I need to learn the truth. And ta-da, spiritual path started. That was I think somewhere between 6 and 8 months into my martial arts training, so that helped to obviously precipitate that. You also started to get into psychedelics, so obviously that helped precipitate it also. So all these things were lining up, and I had the experience, and my life just changed from there. And here I am. So anyhow. So we're going to do our 3-card spread. I'm asking Spirit to just help pick the right cards. It'll give us, the energy read on the week. And it's about half. Okay. We're talking about blue, black water. You were wow. We've known each other a long time. I was still at Enchantments, right, when I met you. Oh, thank you so much for all the love, everybody. Really means a lot to me. I appreciate it. Did Victor get on? Did I see him? Yes. Hi, Victor. Smoke in the water, smoke on the water. Next to Metal, Animals is my favorite Pink Floyd album. They're different eras. So, Animals was much more Roger Waters, although what's the guitarist's name? God, my brain. Just one of the best guitarists in the world, and a band that I love, Gilmore. Just sang Dogs, but that had much more of Roger Waters' flavor. But the back when Metal was done, it is more Gilmore. Did a lot of the writing and singing back then. You got to see them, yeah. Yeah, that's an arguable point. I mean, I'm still. It's really because of Echoes. I have to be honest, because of the side 2 Echoes is the reason that Metal's my favorite, but Animals is too. They're both my favorites. Pigs. That's one of my all-time favorite songs. Pigs, 3 different ones. All right, so. Away from the music for a minute, clearing my mind. My 3 cards, or your 3 cards, our 3 cards. And this is actually good cards here. Cherry card, I mean, it shows a little bit of a division, but it shows the same forces driving the division, but they're not so far apart. So perhaps something's clicking, more people are waking up and seeing through the illusion of how these orchestrated events because this has been, we're going back to Venezuela now, because this has been planned, and it may have been planned, not by Donald Trump, but by advisors, and that could be connected to the cabal. Even though I see him as an outlier personally, there's still some signs that agenda is playing out, especially the Stargate project was to me was a big yellow flag on what direction the Trump presidency was going to go and society was going to go. That's the AI networks, the mRNA vaccines with AI for a cancer treatment. Not everybody knows this, but mRNA vaccines have been around for a while. When people think it's a brand new technology, it's not. But it was really developed for cancer, for as a cancer therapy, and they're developing that now and using AI. And I think I mean my knowledge of the medicine and science is limited, but my belief, or from what I've seen, that it's able to like individualize different people's cancers and be able to provide a treatment specifically for that person using the vaccine. Although I guess it's not really a vaccine if it's used for cancer. Maybe it is. And the AI technology, that was coming in. And then, nothing is by accident. That everything's all connected. And people were up in arms about funding being cut to cancer research. But, cancer research, we're likely coming up with cheaper and very effective alternatives, but they want to push this agenda out. There's that. And, with the whole thing with Venezuela, just look at, the strategicness. We're in a race with China for AI development, which is a joke because, we do business with China. I haven't checked lately. Maybe Trump pulled out of businesses in China by now. I don't know, but I know it could is capitalism. It's cheaper to do it that way. So it's like the biggest enemy of the world. Well, the world is doing business with the biggest enemy of the world. So you look at these different moving parts, like in Venezuela, they have the rare earth minerals. So does Nigeria, where there's an ISIS attack in Nigeria, rich in rare earth minerals that are used to build the infrastructure, build the data centers for AI. Also, Venezuela is suspiciously close to the Panama Canal. Huge strategic edge of controlling the Panama Canal. Can you control the trade of the world when you do that? Also through leveraging tariffs. And of course there's gold there. And oil's the obvious, and that's where all the news is saying, look, the oil, now we'll have access to this oil, and oil's at what, like a 5-6 year low right now. Oil prices are doing good. So you got to look, not just at the one part, but the whole. It's a holistic thing that's going on. Like why different countries are coming under fire now. Greenland may be next. They've been talking about Greenland for a while. There may be another state in Central America that all of a sudden we're gonna work against the cartels there, because drug cartels exist in other countries, not just Venezuela. So keep that in mind. That's just putting that out there. We're not making any judgments, because I'm not a political strategist. I didn't study political science in school. This is just what I feel, what I'm seeing, based on limited knowledge of the intricacies of global politics. I'll put it that way. What do you guys say? Let's see what you guys are saying also. And I'll look at these cards again. We're talking about music a lot. All right, that's cool. The last card is the cartel with the sun upside down. Interesting. Yeah, the sun upside down. That is interesting too. And Yes, this is the Chariot. This is the Ten of Pentacles, and then the Sun card reverse. Ten of Pentacles often about money, investments, Wall Street, crypto market, silver market. These are gold pentacles, so we see a lot of manipulation with the money markets, the precious metals. Your silver vaults are empty. So why silver? I didn't check it this morning, but why is it still in the low 70s as of yesterday? Isn't there a supply and demand? I mean, I know it works a little bit different with investments and collecting and that stuff, but it's still basic economics, supply and demand. Demand is high. It's in computers. It's in solar panels. Supply is low. So why has silver not already gone into the multiple hundreds? There's reasons for it. I don't understand every intricacy, but there's reasons for it. So I think that there's a lot coming up this week about money being scrutinized, world finance. We may hear more about like cryptos and stuff like that. I'm wondering if anybody knows a little bit about XRP in the crypto market. This could be, I'm not saying it is, but this could be a sign that might go up again. I was thinking more into February, but hey, the timing is hard to pin down sometimes. So what does this Chariot card look like? Like I said, it's a divide, but they're kind of moving in the same direction, being driven by the same forces. You'd see the stars in the blue, that can almost, and when I read tarot, it's usually what my brain picks up on in the image is a message. And I never got this before, but isn't the American flag have stars on a blue background? And it's like Venezuela is probably just the beginning. I don't know if they're going to go deeper into South America, deeper into Africa, but again, remember the Panama Canal is just north of Venezuela. That's Venezuela's in north eastern South America. I think I'm not an expert in geography, but I believe Panama borders it, or if not, it's certainly very close. And I believe the canal is in South Panama. So, the U.S. presence in Venezuela, how convenient if you want to control the canal, which President Trump has already said we want to control the canal. So a lot coming up with money, but this could be for us in our community. It could be a good time to look at our money and invest in something that we feel that. So it's a good energy for money. It's a good energy for travel and stuff like that. The Sun card reverse could be showing a little bit later in the week. We could get the next round of solar activity. So that this could represent some kind of a solar flare. The Sun card backwards. Unity of a clumsy Luciferian leaders. Could be. I mean, I think that's been happening. And they're saying pretty much near set, so it hasn't changed yet. Okay. And yeah, thank you, Felicia. Cherry card of the USA color. I don't know if you I don't know if you can if you post that before or after I said that, but if before I didn't see that. Can't break $2. So maybe that'll change soon. So you own XRP, it has tanked so far. You have to hold it, yeah, because it did go way up from its original. Silver predictions should be interesting tonight. Yeah. I mean, I think it's gonna hold where it is for the time being. But I feel like second half of the month, yeah, it's hard for me to predict. Honestly, let me just see. It's different because gold goes up because the value of currency goes down, basically. But silver is a different ball game. Yeah, controlled, we get that. Yeah, but I feel like they're saying, but some news comes out towards the later week. They're not going to be able to hold the prices down too much longer. So I think, if you can get physical silver, if it's not on back order, I think this is a good time to get in right now. All right, so let's do a few other divination things. Yeah, this castle looks a lot like the White House to me. I mean, it's not the White House, but that's what I'm going. So I think we're going to see in the next week or two more world leaders, going to the White House and speaking with the president. I feel he's going to be very active. I got this feeling that he may not be, the president for too much longer. And some of the forecasts, we got a few possible dates. But I do feel like he's aware of that potential anyway. There's the Epstein list. There are other factors going on. And his health, of course, also is another factor. And I think that they may be pushing the agendas up a little bit. I feel like it's not like he's thinking he's going to leave office. I think, if I'm getting this right, I think it's more like, just in case that I leave office soon, let's speed this up and get these agendas going. So I think we're going to hear more about Greenland and other parts of the world. And I don't know if there's Luciferian leadership in Greenland or what the deal would be with that. There's a lot of minerals. There's a lot of gold in Greenland, and it's very strategic also to have control of that as well. And, we said right at the beginning, right, even before Trump was elected, when we knew, when I didn't know, but I felt he was going to get elected, that we were going to see a lot of lines being drawn in the sand, a lot of maneuvering. So, pay attention to what countries fall under U.S. control. Venezuela, they just popped Nicaragua in my mind. I don't know what the heck Nicaragua had, but that just popped up in my mind for some reason. We may get some news on that. There's Greenland, there's Africa that's probably being divided up, theoretically by the Western world because of all the resources there. Spirit saying, yeah, that's nothing new. That's what I just heard in my mind. That's nothing new. It's just reaching another level. And this could also be, we might actually see a couple of things, maybe not this week, but this month, some movement towards, I don't know what it would be called, stimulus packages or tariff rebates or tax rebates. Some of us in New York State, last fall got a $200 tax rebate. I was like, wow, cool. I got $200 from New York State. You have to be a taxpayer to get that. And yes, I do have a legal business, although part of me in today, if I knew when I established myself what I know today, I might have stayed under the radar with that. But anyway, that's another story. And then the other thing we may start to hear about more about gold standard. That was a 2026 prediction, although I was picking more up around September. But, if that got tossed around, let's go back on the gold standard. I think it already is. It's part of the quantum financial system. Getting out of this hellish fiat system, even if at this point, from the little bit that I understand, even if it involves digital currency, if it's gold back, if it gets out of the fiat system where money really has no value other than the value that those that rule over us put on it, and of course what we believe the value is means a lot also. If it's gold backed, it has real value. Gold's the standard of wealth for many, many, many millennia here on the planet. Then that may clean up. A lot of corruption's getting cleaned up. And some of these raids are part of that, but a lot of corruption is getting cleaned up at this time. And we know that. We predicted it. It's happening. And international finance, of course, is a big one because he who has the money has the power, right? So that's basically that. They pulled this card also. Yeah, this is a time to just, clear our vessels, right? To just kind of let it all go. It's not fair. Freedoms are under attack. AI in the wrong hands could be a tool of control. Like we have all these potential problems going on. And I think the idea is, this is the time when we're early in the year just to let all go from the past. Start with a clean slate. New year, new slate, basically. When you clear your mind of everything that you think then you can start to learn new things, basically. So I think it's really a cleaning house time, basically. So let me do a couple of other things. I've got the Native American Tarot. I have a new deck. I actually got another gift that I left in my office. I don't know if that was a deck also, but So I got a new deck called the Green Witch, the Green Witch's Oracle deck. So I'll pull a card from my new deck too. But I want to start out with the Native American tarot. Just seeing your comments for a second. Cuba, that would make a lot of sense, right? Cuba, that might be next also. Good pick up there, Carla. I think it's speeding up. Yeah. All right. So you're having a good old conversation. I'm not able to keep up on. I think we should do a video on developing Claire abilities. I'll do another video on that. Absolutely. Good idea. Yeah. Once I get a little bit settled into the flow, I want to do that. It's just kind of issue with the YouTube algorithm because people like predictions and the way the YouTube algorithm works, they'll each video that comes out, it'll go to a very small sample size of subscribers. And if the subscribers are lukewarm on it, nobody sees it. And I've done a lot of psychic development videos that you guys probably never seen because the algorithm squashes it. But if I talk about freaking Donald Trump, it's like the videos blow up. I've gotten a little bit of flack about that because obviously it's something in society that can be leveraged, right? If something else was hot on the news, I'd highlight that also. It's part of the YouTube game, really, but it's also what people want to know. That's why these videos blow up. All the psychic prediction videos do well. The tutorial videos, I'll be lucky if they get 1,000 views. I've got 37,000+ subscribers, which is ridiculous to get under 1,000 views on the video. But that's how the YouTube algorithm is working. They want all of us to really be robotic and keep doing videos on the same thing over and over and over and over again. So people that are more eclectic, well, what we're doing here is we're kind of building more of a grassroots community. You're not really going out there to try to blow up videos. I gave up on that years ago, but rather to you guys are what matters, not people that don't know the channel. You guys are what matters. So I don't know how we get around this, but anytime that it comes up on your feed that you see a video that's more of a tutorial, watch it all the way through, click on it, watch it all the way through, comment, like it. And if enough people do that, some of these videos will start to hit the algorithm also. But that's it. I'm still going to do them. Still going to do them. So anyway, hopefully that addresses that. And yeah, developing psychic ability, developing the clairs, it's something that I teach. And I've done a few videos on that. I do have a playlist on psychic development that has 20 some odd videos for you guys if you want to check that out. I've got another playlist on mediumship development for connecting with our guides and our loved ones on the other side. A lot of them are older, so they're not very polished videos, but the information is still very very valid. Anyway, clearing my mind. And we got the Ace of Blades. That's the Ace of Swords. New beginnings and swords. Swords could be like weapons. Swords could be truth. I think a lot of truth bombs. I think I feel like Spirit is saying, I don't know if it's Venezuela, but it may be something else, either in this country or another country, that the leader gone too far and it's making more people question and more truth is coming out. I think also with the Epstein list, we may never know everybody on the list. There's likely to be people that take the fall to protect the higher ups, those, the apex predators of the geopolitical world may be protected, but, that could affect the U.S. presidency, depending on what degree of involvement that he has and what news is real, what's falsified. There's so many moving parts, but I think that's part of why this popped up to talk a little bit about that. There's reasons that it's been delayed again. They go over, they like try to fix it, or whatever that means. But from entertainers to Republicans to Democrats. There's a lot of big names that allegedly, from what I understand, went to the island and participated in one of the most heinous possible things imaginable. And for those that believe in the Luciferian theory, that actually feeds that kind of energy, which is horrific. It's hard for me to even talk about it without wanting to throw up. But anyway, 2016, yeah. And she's saying, yes, they are protected. And then they're saying, or is the process multiple streams of information conversation? 2016, yeah, that's when Donald Trump was elected. There's allegedly 65,000 bad people to get. That's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. And then Mayor saying Epp and did are low level kind of. It's much more than Epstein. I agree, and Diddy and anybody else that's taking the fall. I'm sorry, I missed that. And then Fleet saying the Ace of Nades may go along with the Devil card, meaning the truth of what may be holding us back. Very good analysis. I agree. And even if you try to the sites that expose you, you'll get violently ill. It's that bad. Yeah, just sorry about it. It's turning my stomach to be honest and clear about that. So I've got a few other divination tools. We're gonna do transmission in a moment also. Well, let me look at this green witch's oracle deck. Let me pull a card from this. I still have to charge it and personalize it. I just cracked it open. It'd be interesting to see what I pick anyways. For the herbalists, yeah, the pagan leaning people, this might speak to you. So anyways, they got me right to my card. Chamomile. Oh, chamomile. Yeah, chamomile's tough. When I think of chamomile, I think of in smaller cities or villages, like in between the cracks of the pavement, sometimes chamomile grows in that. So chamomile is really, really tough. And what it says is gentleness, relaxation, deep. I think it's just Spirit's way of saying, all right, we've been talking about some pretty intense issues this morning, right? Maybe we need to take a deep breath, and when we're done with this, have like some hot tea, some chamomile tea, relax, take a nap, just chill out, read a book or something like that. Because chamomile has a very relaxing vibe. It's also solar because it's golden yellow, so there's that solar energy as well. But it's very tough. Chamomiles are very, very tough and resilient, as are we. So that's interesting. Somebody's saying yes, Victor. What are we saying yes to Victor for? Very healing, right? Yeah, Victor leads an amazing meditation. It's twice a day in your channel. Think about each time one of these disgusting things are removed, the vibrational frequency of our planet increase. That's absolutely right on point. Thank you so much. And that's the idea. And it's okay if I get a little bit queasy or uncomfortable talking about this, because we're the end game here is truth, right? Whether it's through psychic means, through our guides or angels, or on the geopolitical front. Our aim is really to talk about the truth and expose the truth as we best understand it. And somebody is saying is very healing, so that's true. Solar plex, that makes sense because of the yellow, right? And then Mary's saying, yes, but it's removing the buds and not the root. Well, yeah, root is thousands of years old. Just be aware is often enough. Choices thing. So, right now, it isn't. If you pluck a leader from Venezuela, that is a little bit of cherry picking, right? But I think the end game is an actual eradication, not just a pulling of the little buds on top of the flowers, right? And I think we may be going into lavender. Yeah, that's another good one. Lavender. In excess. That he had that song about the devil inside, right? Every single one of us, the devil inside. Channel Resilient, right? That guy's name Michael Hutchinson. I think he took his life or something like that. But for that genre, I liked In Excess also. But them like so many other bands. Trying to think, the one with the brothers I didn't like. Was it not Mimosa? What was their name? Anyway, but you have to look beyond the hits to really see what these bands are about and how good that they really are. Because you wouldn't necessarily know from listening to the hit songs of it in excess. That's not Ambrosia. Ambrosia had an amazing first album, by the way. Used to get stoned and listen to that in college in the 70s. That's the first Ambrosia album. With the song where they go into all this spacey music and then recite Jabberwocky from Alice Through the Looking Glass. That's a classic moment in prog rock that most people don't know about by the first band by the band Ambrosia. So anyways, let's do a couple other divination things. Let's do our animal totem. Oh, it's already an hour, so let me do 2 more things. Then we're going to do a little mini transmission. So totem animal from Michael Hutchinson. Did apparently there's lots of theories out on that. Why does that not surprise me? Yeah, I get a lot of messages and songs also. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, I think, what's it called? It's on the second side of the first Ambrosia album. No, it's not Peace Frog. That's the Doors. It has a name like that. And he does. They recite the poem. Beware the Jabberwock son with eyes that or eyes that bite, claws that catch, or something like that. Underneath the tum-tum tree. Thanks, Victor. Okay. You guys have something going on at 11, right? You can post that for us. Wild Boar, yeah, that's Millie and Truth Wave, aka Victor. Wild Boar, Wild Boars. That one I have to look up. I mean, they're strong. They can be aggressive. Let me see what the book meaning is. This is the revised medicine cards. Originally, it was 44 of them for the 44 medicine shields of the Plains people. Then they expanded it, and Wild Boar was one of the expanded. That makes sense. Confrontation. So maybe it's just a way of saying, beware of confrontations. And sometimes it's good to avoid them. There's the Kobayashi Maru for the Star Trek fans like myself. That's the no-win scenario, basically. And that's just something that's set up that you can't win. It's more of a test of character, resolve, and will, and stuff like that. So the idea sometimes with confrontation, some confrontations are worth confronting. Sometimes it's necessary, and others are better to avoid if they're not going to provide any good. So maybe understanding a little bit more, going a little bit deeper into the vibe of confrontation. Understanding that there's usually a little poem here. Wild Boar, teach us to confront without fear, ripping apart the denials and lies that appear. Testing courage, finding truth, its medicine will remain a part of every human path, making the victories we attain. Oh, how I love that. What happened, Deb? You got almost got attacked by a wild boar? Like one of my dads, man, they can run fast, yeah. On my loans. But yeah, Florida definitely has wild boars, yeah. I've seen them in Florida. They have the big black boars there, and I'm sure there's other colors, but I saw black ones there. So that's interesting, yeah. Uh, so, all right, all right. Let me, yeah, let me. I like to do the sacred geometry oracle to do a pull from that. Then we'll go on. Babies were waiting for you. A Razorbacks. Yeah, that's in the Razorback state of Arkansas. All right, so let me clear my mind. The one they wanted me to go to was this one here. Ooh, same one we got yesterday. Maybe I needed to shuffle these better, or well, Spirit led me right to this card, so I think they wanted to reiterate that from last night also, to work on the frequency of prosperity. We got the 10 of Pentacles earlier, big money card. So I think there's a message about that this is a good time. We're still in the full moon energy now. It's starting. It'll start waning, today, later today, and tomorrow. But we're still in the energy, and we're right at the beginning of a new calendar year. It's not a new solar year. The new solar year, depending on your point of view, either started on around Halloween on not Beltane, on Samhain, or on the winter solstice where the sun is reborn, or around the spring equinox. So there's different reference points of when the new year really is. But according to our Gregorian, or I think it's the Julian calendar now, it's January 1st. So to work on prosperity, we all deserve to have prosperity. Money is only one aspect of prosperity. And if we're prosperous in spirit and soul and energetically, then we become more magnetic to money also, because God, Spirit Source, the Creator, didn't make this big, wide, beautiful world for us to live in lack and not experience it. We're here to experience and to grow through the experience. And money, to me, it's power, it's freedom, and growth. And the freedom of the frequency of prosperity supports our feeling of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. So there you have it. 11, 12, was the 12, 12 here. Let's do a little transmission work. We'll do this briefly. Thank you so much. You guys are so good to me. I love you. Appreciate the super stickers and the help. Yeah, that helps to keep the channel going for sure. So thank you for that. And let's just get nice and relaxed. If you're new, the master teachers, I identify them as interdimensional beings of light and frequency and energy, and a large collective at that. And their job is to really work with the energetic frequencies. So they do that when I'm leading. They work with my frequencies. If you're present and part of this, and people that we're all in different locations, right? Some of us in different countries, but if you're synced in with a group meditation, what happened is that our brainwave patterns align, our breathing patterns align, and the heart rhythms align. It's really an amazing thing. And if you can get a group of people meditating toward a certain intention, well, that's more powerful than one person, right? So, Joe Dispenza and others did these experiments, and they found people would heal or go into like cancer remissions, or tumors would shrink. Just having a group of people with the same intention of healing that person. Our energy is that powerful, and no shortcuts. The AI and all of that technology that's going to be able to provide artificial spiritual experiences, it's still not the real thing. So It can be a beautiful, addition, it can be part of the ascension, but it can also be a tool leveraged for control. So the ones that control the masses leverage further control. So we have to be aware. We have to be aware of what's going on in the world to really be truly spiritual. That's part of the game, in my humble opinion. To have some worldly awareness also, because that's the spiritual path that we've chosen in this lifetime to come into this world, to master energy, to master our lives, to master our breath, to master our connection to source, and to be able to bring that energy, divine source, into the earthly realm in order to create positive change for ourselves and others. So on that note, let's get nice and relaxed and tune into your breathing. Feeling your shoulders relaxing, chin and cheeks relaxing, and forehead relaxing. And that'll help your whole body to relax. Feeling your inhale, feeling your exhale. So the master teachers, they work through me, with me. So there may be some verbal channeling, toning, light language, and stuff like that. But the idea is for us to synchronize into a higher frequency together that's better matches these new energies of ascension or new earth that are coming in now. Oh, my head's buzzing. They're here. So let me shift. Greetings, dear ones. And yes, all of what the channel is saying, all the above. But what we really want you to do now is to ground, to really, at this time, you're in your Capricorn cycle on your earth. You are in an experience where there's so much chaos, so much being thrown at you. Grounding is really essential. So we are going to work at this time with your root chakras, with the base of your spine, as well as your sacral, as well as your earth star chakra below your feet. So place your attention on your root. Beautiful ruby red to pink color, maybe even golden for some of you, depending on which frequency line that you're on. What are the right words? The channel needs to clear. Yes, the different attributes that could translate into the colors will suggest what octave of spiritual awakening that you're on. These are the words or the interpretation of the thoughts that we wish to bring to you. So we are raising the frequencies, opening the fields. So feel your heart open. Focus your energy on the root. Feel your heart open and expansive. And then feeling your crown open to receive these higher energies. The energies of Great Spirit or Source, whatever word you give to the Creator energies, will activate your crown, will be intensified and magnified and expanded through the heart, and will help you to set your root chakra on fire in a good way. Ground and center. These are the best ways to handle on so many different levels the shift of energy and frequency and the subsequent changes in your physical world that are happening and that are coming. Breathe from the root. Inhale from your root, exhale from your root. When you inhale, feel your root expand. When you exhale, feel it contract. That way you create energy waves that remove stuck energy, that removes blocks, obstacles. Your root chakra is a storehouse for a lot of your social and personal conditioning and programming. It's not yours. And it's not just this lifetime, it's ancestral, it's cultural, it's universal. We'll put it that way, to the earthlings anyways, it's universal. Inhale, expand, exhale, contract, making those waves, letting the energies flow through the root. And what happened when that happened? You become more magnetic to money, do you not? As that is a survival tool in your complex physical realities. You become more healthy, your bones get stronger, your skeleton gets stronger. Some of you may even have an easier time losing weight if that's on your New Year's wish list. because it's security. When you feel insecure and you're genetically predisposed, we shall say, although it's much more than genetics in reality, if you feel your security threatened, there's the subconscious response in the mind and emotion that creates the sense of needing extra protection. Then the body creates an extra layer of fat. Ha ha ha. And then you wonder why you cannot lose weight. It's not that you can't lose weight. It's just that you are holding on to these security issues that it's just programming. True security comes from the knowledge that you are a spirit, the one thing that lasts forever. Everything in your physical world will end. There's no security in money. When you die, you don't have that money anymore, but you always have your connection to spirit or source. That is your true source of security. And when you own that, you create in this illusory matrix reality, you create within the matrix that physical security that you may be craving, not by trying to create it, because then you just block it, but by understanding what the true source of all security is. That is what your root chakra is teaching you, especially when you allow the higher energies to flow through the heavens, flow through your crown, expand the heart, and intensify the root, and feel the roots from your root through your feet into your earth star and into Mother Gaia. Hold your attention on the root. Inhale and exhale, and just hold that. We will assist through frequency channeling for you and toning. Hold your root. Ishadeya Mario Dosedia Sako Shiba Mawa O Sio Shiana Dia Desenia Na Nianio no Yono Nioda Dio Sera Patachio Sipia Ea Sio Sitadia Keep breathing from the root. Feel the root expansive. And in the waves, just clear and cleanse. Feeling the energy of your root down through your legs and feet, through the floor into the earth. Inhale and exhale a few times from the earth. Starting to deepen your breathing, visualizing in your auric fields the luminous egg around you. At the very base, a little opening, a tailpipe opens. Set the intention to any excess or static energy from the transmission, just gently drain down that into the earth. The earth recycles it, but out of your vessel is the point. Feel your root very strong and deep. When you're ready, open your eyes. So 5 p.m. yoga with Doreen. If anybody wants to join us and do the classes New Year, New You. So that's the asana she's going to do is going to be very succinct with the energies of the new moon. And of course, like tarot time, it'll be it'll be a video. There'll be a replay when the live is over. It'll still be on the channel. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Yep, we are shedding our old skin in the year of the snake, getting ready to ride that fire horse into greatness. So good year ahead. Not an easy year, but a really great year ahead for all of us. What's the channel's name? I'm not sure what channel we're talking about. Maybe somebody can answer that before I sign off. Thank you so much, Laura, for being here. We love you. Thank you, Josh, for being here. We love you too. Grateful and blessed. And hey, the good news, Josh, we got to meet and hug. Yep, with other friends too. Wow, nice. Very nice. Love how the community comes together. Yay, King. Yeah, blessings for King. The yoga channel. It's the Children's School of Yoga. Oh, at least that's the website. That's probably her channel name also. But it's going to be on the Medium channel. So 5 o'clock on the Medium channel. So that's for this question. All right. Thank you, Angela, for stopping in also. Love you too. And anybody that I missed, I just didn't see your comments. Thank you, Madonna. Thank you also. We love you. We are ending now. May peace and love be with you. Happy New Year.